name is Colin Anderson, and I'm the general manager. My first ever Dobama experience actually was in college. I came here for a class. I had to come and see A Civil War Christmas, which was the Paula Vogel musical that Nathan directed a few years ago. And growing up here, I had never been to Dobama before, but since then, obviously, I've been back many times. I grew up in North Ridgeville, Ohio, went to high school in Elyria, and then to college in Oberlin, so I've been sort of a native Clevelander my whole life. And then I moved to Cleveland Heights when I got this job back in 2018. When I was in high school, I got started with acting. I was in pretty much every show that I could be in, working around my Dairy Queen schedule. And then when I got to college, I started moving more toward directing, and that's what I do now. You know, it's my real job, you know, the thing that I do artistically. And as part of that, I started doing some design work. I still acted a little bit while I was in school. I started doing production management. So that post-college, I came here to assistant direct Hand to God. So I was around for that. And then I did an internship the following year. So from fall of 2017 to spring of 2018. And I assistant directed a bunch of stuff. And then in the spring of 2018, when my predecessor was leaving, they offered me the position, and now I'm here. I think my favorite experience with Dobama was assistant directing 33 1/3. I had never been part of a world premiere before, and so to watch, you know, the workshop of that and have the writers in the room and the composer in the room was very enlightening, you know, both personally and professionally. And so it was also just a big stretch for me too, to sort of fall into that assistant director role in a way that was at once very engaged and also, you know, had to step back to leave room for all the people who needed the room. And I think my favorite show, it's gotta be a toss-up, I think. I really have loved everything that I've been a part of in any capacity while I've been here. But I think somewhere between Grounded and then Hand to God have just both been, in vastly different ways, really enlightening shows, really intelligent, performed by really brilliant actors, directed just brilliantly as well. There's something so adventurous about both of those shows and really about everything that Dobama does. And then all the artists that come into the room for that purpose also share that sense of adventure. And I think that's the thing that's the most appealing to me in all of my Dobama experiences, and those two just happen to be the pinnacle. My most meaningful moment, personally, I'll do two, having this position be sort of presented to me. I've been such a workaholic my whole life, and I've worked a lot of restaurant jobs, I've worked a lot of side gigs and done the hustle and everything. And so after interning here for a year, to have that sort of be recognized and to, you know, see my value as a young artist, as well as just like a person entering the field, was very flattering and has done me endless favors since I've started. And so in terms of like my life and personally meaningful, that definitely was the top. I think the most professionally meaningful thing or artistically meaningful thing that I have seen, I think does actually go back to 33 1/3. You know, going to Catholic school and growing up in sort of a conservative area, there was a stigma surrounding what it was to be, you know, the gay boy. I've been there, done that for quite a bit of time. And so to have a world premiere musical about, you know, coming out of the closet and finding your own skin was very refreshing. I was sort of surprised at the way that it hit me, because it seems like a simple story, but something about it was so tender and so meaningful to me and so many people. And being able to partner with the LGBT Center as well just sort of rounded it out and made it something much bigger than it could have been. My favorite thing about Dobama, the fact that it's entirely premieres. You know, the off-Broadway movement and off-Broadway work is something that Cleveland doesn't often have a chance to see, at least professionally produced. But even beyond that, like I said before, there is this sense of adventurousness and the idea that because you're exploring something that hasn't been touched yet in this area, you do have to come at it with a sense of responsibility, a sense of originality, a sense of trust. It's really hard to do something in a way that is tired when it's never been seen here. And so the fact that everything that Dobama does follows that same principle and has that same sense of mission. You know, Dobama's mission really is reflected in everything that it does. And I think that is my favorite part. There's never any mission creep. It's all very consistent. I would say Dobama is important to me because it really was my introduction to the professional world. You know, I had done the undergrad thing. You know, you leave college and feel like you know everything that there is to know. And, you know, I wanted to get a sense of the professional world, but I had no idea how much my worldview would expand by working here. First as an assistant director, I mean, that gave me a whole slew of new experiences and new talents that I didn't even know I had. And then to come at it from an administrative perspective as well. Again, it sort of combined a lot of pieces of myself that I really like and that I couldn't necessarily see the value in inherently, and to meld them all together and find this new niche for myself that feels like a very natural fit. You know, I owe a lot of credit to Dobama for the way that it's shaped my professional life and my trajectory as well. Dobama does some of the most important work that's being seen around Cleveland, primarily because, you know, we're not afraid to take a big risk in terms of the content and the style. I think sometimes, you know, a Cleveland audience kind of gets used to one or the other. You know, they see envelope pushing as sort of like, oh, you know, that subject was a little racy, or the style was experimental or devised, or, you know, any of those things. And so to have a professional house that's willing to take shows that do both, that really experiment with what audiences are comfortable with and how they're comfortable with viewing it, it can't be overstated how valuable that is in terms of expanding Cleveland's artistry. I mean, Cleveland has become such a hub for artistic development and the showcasing of various artistic talents, from the film festival to the art museum to the theater circuit. And so to have a house here that is committed to broadening what Cleveland is used to and bringing new work and new styles and new genres, I think as time goes on, we'll see that that's been really invaluable in shaping, you know, what Cleveland has become. I think sometimes in the theater we are used to hearing about meaningful shows, hearing about social justice, hearing about impact, but Dobama has, in my time here at least, and I mean, being the first regional production in this region of Angels in America, sort of speaks to the fact that Dobama is really committed to putting its work and the value of its work above any sort of profit or returns at the box office, or, you know, they intrinsically see the value in pieces that are driven by social justice and driven by the change that they have the potential to make, and they put them on no holds barred. And I really think that in terms of making a difference and in terms of art that has a reach beyond just the theater, Dobama has and continues to make that change very visceral to all of us. You know, even when it upsets people, you know that those people are thinking, and that's the best that you can do. You know, to be forced to examine the reasons that you're uncomfortable about something is so much more valuable than to look at it academically or analytically. To really be confronted with it, I think, is something that Dobama has not been shy about doing, and for good reason and with good result. A very happy 60th anniversary, Dobama. I'm so proud and excited and flattered to have been part of the team for the last 2.5 years, and I look forward to the next 60 years.